We've all heard about traditional marriages and about how there's separate spheres. The man goes to work and earns the money, and he's the economically active partner, and the woman stays at home, watches over the children, and tends to the home. She's not economically active, but that is actually quite modern. Before the Industrial Revolution, women were economically active at home, and men also were economically active at home, at least most of them were. The Industrial Revolution changed all of that. It took away that role that women's had and placed it in the factory. But now we have the digital revolution, the internet revolution, and it's making a lot of us be able to be active at home while tending to children once again, while earning an income at home. So we definitely belong online. This is our space. This is our sphere, and for more reasons than one. That's just one of the aspects, and we're gonna get into it in this video. So with that said, there's something quietly radical about the way women use the internet. We log on not just to be seen, but to see one another, to witness each other in a world that has historically demanded our silence, our deference, our submission, and our invisibility. Social media became a space, a virtual sanctuary where our voices could echo uninterrupted. The internet isn't just a tool, it's an altar, it's a mirror, it's a playground, it's a battleground. And we the women have not only shown up, we've shaped it. The internet isn't just a place to earn money. The internet is chaos, but it's also a memory, it's storytelling, it's mood boarding, it's archiving and resurfacing, sometimes in the middle of the night, sometimes years later. And it's a place to play detective too. It's layered, visual, intuitive, emotive, and nonlinear. It's everything traditional institutions were not built for. And yet, women, we were. Women have always been the keepers of informal oral traditions, the arrangers of scrapbooks and family photo albums, the ones who remembered birthdays and held generational memory in our bones. In that sense, the internet feels like an extension of us, not just a tool we've merely adopted. And some men, particularly those wrapped in the silk of the manosphere, love to sneer that women shouldn't be online, they say, or that internet was a better place before women took over. To them, female presence is pollution, or worse, a provocation. But here's the thing. We've always been the soul of social spaces, from salons to sew-in circles, from letters to blogs, from diaries to TikToks. This is nothing new. And no, I'm not here to argue that women should be online for thirst traps or to perform for men in that sense, if you know what I mean. No, I'm not celebrating overexposure, commodification, or monetization of femininity through selling one's body. That's not what this is. This is a story, a myth, almost about digital presence as power, about reclaiming the narrative, creativity, visibility, and about how, despite the noise and the criticism, women carved out a space online. And in doing so, built entire empires. Let's look at the facts, okay? Social media platforms owe their success to women, full stop. According to Pew Research, women are more likely than men to use social media platforms, especially community building ones like Instagram, Pinterest, and TikTok. Meta's own data shows that women drive the majority of the engagement on Instagram. Pinterest, over 75% of the users are women. Even YouTube, a platform thought to be male-dominated, has seen female creators build massive, loyal audiences through lifestyle commentary, beauty, psychology, and cultural commentary. We don't just scroll. Okay, we build, we curate, we storytell. What some call vanity, others can call vision. What some dismiss as oversharing, others recognize as archiving, as memory making, as connection. Women create viral trends, spark social movements, and produce the content that algorithms favor. In Pew Research from recent years, women consistently outpace men in the usage of these platforms. Women share more, comment more, and create more organic content that drives algorithmic success. And it's not just about the numbers, it's about culture. Every dominant aesthetic trend you've seen in the past 10 years, mostly women. Every meme format that turned into social commentary, mostly women. Women didn't just join platforms, we reshaped them. And for those who claim that women are only online to show off? Let's dig deeper. The curated beauty, the aesthetic reels, the dreamy YouTube videos, they're not just vanity. They're acts of visual storytelling. They're emotional scrapbooks. They're reclaims of agency. But let's not romanticize this too much, okay? The internet is also a mirror, and sometimes a warped one. The same space that amplifies female creativity and voice can also distort it. Somewhere along the line, the feminine presence online became hypersexualized, commodified, and flattened into an aesthetic. And yes, some of that came from women themselves. It's a delicate thing to say out loud, but it's true. Not all women are using the internet in empowering ways. Some are exposing too much. There, I said it, physically and emotionally, for attention, for approval, for validation. We all know what that looks like. The carefully curated thirst trap, disguised as self-love or with some Bible verse. The trauma dumping under the guise of vulnerability, or the constant hot takes meant to trigger controversy for the algorithm. Not all female presence online is good. Not all expression is empowered. We've all done it to a certain degree, some more than others, and that is the dark side of how women use the internet. But we know deep down, commodification isn't freedom. Visibility isn't the same as power. And attention, especially male attention, that type of male attention, is a fickle god to worship. And here's where it gets darkly ironic. That same women who use the internet for male approval, if you know what I mean, become fodder for an entirely different genre of male content. The manosphere. These men built entire platforms reacting to women, mocking them, dissecting their dating lives, their clothes, their voices, their existence. They stitch TikToks, they screen record Instagram, they play clips of OnlyFans creators and say, this is what's wrong with women today. They make money out of outrage, manufactured or real. But their outrage is parasitic. They need women to perform in order to have something to critique. They rely on the internet being a feminine space because it gives them endless content. The manosphere is nothing without the women online, and deep down they know it. That's why they keep telling us to log off, but never stop watching. They fear a world where women aren't desperate for attention, for money, for love, because we found wholeness elsewhere. And maybe that's what makes social media so revolutionary when women use it right. It becomes a modern mythos, a shared space for healing, a collective remembering. We pass down recipes, birth stories, motherhood stories and advice, trauma, joy. We find each other across oceans. We mourn together, we grow together. We laugh so hard we cry. All of it online. And let's be clear. Again, the manosphere wouldn't exist without women. Their entire economy, their content pipeline depends on reacting to women. They need us to create so they can ridicule. They need us to expose so they can dissect. They need our vulnerability so they can twist it into their talking points. It's a vampiric cycle. Women show up online, open up, explore their thoughts, their femininity, or even their confusion. And these men build content off of it, racking up millions of views. And the irony, they say that they hate that we're online. They ask us, where's your husband, when they spot us online? But they had no content without us. They drink from the well they claim is poisoned. Now, not every man online is part of the problem. I have to say this. Some are quietly, or not so quietly, part of the solution. These men who comment with nuance, DM me book suggestions. Let's take a breath and say this clearly. Not all men are like the loudest, angriest voices online. In fact, many of the men who I've encountered through my community, especially on Instagram, have been thoughtful, respectful, even protective of women's spaces. They're not here to dominate or dictate. They're here to learn, to witness, to support, to aid. They're here to play their role. These are the men who don't feel threatened by women having ideas or opinions or stories or entire worlds to express. They don't see the internet as a battleground, but as a shared garden. So please, gentlemen, don't take too personally the rest of this video. I do have a lot of positive thoughts about you guys. I touch grass every day when I talk to my husband in the evenings, but I gotta say what I gotta say. They don't see the internet as a battleground, but as a shared garden, one where different perspectives can grow without being trampled. And here's the thing. They're not weak for that. They're not blue-pilled or simping or whatever label the manosphere tries to use to mock them. These men have a backbone and emotional intelligence. They know the difference between leadership and control, between appreciation and entitlement. They show up for their daughters, their sisters, their partners, and they show up online too. So let me be clear. This isn't about men or all men. It's about calling out a very specific sickness, the rot of bitterness, of control, and obsession that festers in certain corners of the internet and unfortunately seems to be spreading. It's not masculinity that we're against, not at all. It's misused masculinity, weaponized masculinity, the kind that sees women's voices as a threat. To the good men, I say, we see you, we need you. You're proof that the digital space can be better than what the algorithm feeds us. Wrapping it up. But going back, what do we do with all this? We remember that the internet is a tool. Even though we women intuitively use this tool without much learning. But one tool that responds to who's holding it. And when women use it with intention, with clarity, with boundaries, we reshape the narrative. We shift from being the product to being the producer, from being the art or the aesthetic to the artist. This doesn't mean that we need to show up perfectly or that vulnerability is bad or that aesthetics are inherently shallow. I mean, I love me some good aesthetics. It just means that we take ourselves seriously enough to ask, why am I sharing this? Who is this for and what does it cost me? The internet is a mythic force. It's wild and untamed and saturated with noise. But in the middle of that, women are still weaving meaning, building community, and telling stories that matter. We were made for this, but we have to remember who we are when we show up. In ancient myths, women were the keepers of knowledge, the whisperers of stories, the weavers of fate. The internet, chaotic, beautiful, dangerous, is a modern loom, and it mimics what even conservatives say female nature is all about. Here on the internet, here on social media, women make their voices heard. We share ideas, start businesses, build communities, archive our lives, and dream publicly. We've used the digital revolution to take back something that the industrial revolution took from us, to be able to be at home, tend to our children, while simultaneously being economically active. If we want to be, we don't have to, but we can. We cry, we laugh, we educate, we create. We've taken pixels and turned them into poetry. We've made femininity a spectacle and a study. No one has to give us permission to exist here. We already do. So, to the men who are uncomfortable with women being online, suck it up. Maybe it's not our presence that bothers you. Maybe it's that so many women are killing it online. And to the women watching this, keep posting, keep creating if you want to. And for the right reasons. This is more than just content. This is culture. And we're just getting started.